Hey y'all, it's pouring, so it's probably gonna be loud. I feel like you can hear that. I'm back and I have more creepy stories that I'm super excited to read to you guys, and these are actually from the subreddit for once. I kind of realized I haven't read from the subreddit in a really long time. I didn't mean to do that. So I picked out a couple Let's Not Meet stories, and I'm really excited to read these because I haven't read your stories in so long, so let's get into it. This first one says, kindness with strings. Am I the asshole and let's not meet? I picked this one because I think there's a very important lesson here and you all need to know it. Hey Courtney, love you, love your channel, and thought I would share my story of last night. This was like, I don't even know, 16 days ago, so this is fresh. Sorry if the story is long, I will try my best to make a long story short. For the last 10 days now, my child, Michael, 13 male, and myself, Vicky, 35 female, have been looking for places to sleep. It's a long backstory, so for the sake of keeping the long story short, I will skip the backstory of how we landed in this position. Last night, a man, let's call him Steve, 53 male, helped us by booking a room for us to stay in that night. This would be the second time Steve has done this for us in the last 10 days. Even the meeting of Steve is part of the long backstory, so when Steve booked us the room, I wasn't thinking the rest of the night would unfold like it did. Steve told us to meet him by the restaurant, which was just opposite of the hotel, so we did. The least I could do was tell him the story of how we ended up where we were. He proceeded to down a few drinks and get a little intoxicated. During the course of our conversations, he told me that adults shouldn't tell children my son's age what to do, and that if they wanted to smoke or drink, that they should just do that. So he then practically tried to force my 13-year-old son to light a smoke, which my son politely passed on to me, as he didn't want to. Steve then told my son to order a beer and have one, which my son then again very politely refused and said he was happy with just soda. When my son went to the restroom, Steve asked if we could exchange numbers, which I did because I know I wouldn't be interacting with him that much, so I didn't mind. When we were done and went back to the hotel, Steve started to text me, telling me to meet him in his room. I said that I would meet him in the lobby, but not in his room. I only did this so that I could shut down his advances and put an end to the night. During the rest of the night's conversation, he asked me when was the last time I got fucked. He commented on my boobs, told me that I was both smart and stupid, tried his best for me to bend my boundaries of physical contact, and all the while I was respectful and firm about my no. I found out he only booked this room so that he could have a place to fuck. When he realized that I was not going to sleep with him, he left. But before he left, he asked if I was going to say goodbye to him. I agreed to see him in the hallway, which he then tried to kiss me goodbye, and I said no. He closed the physical gap by walking up to me and puckering up for a kiss. I backed away. Steve then even told me to pucker up, and I said no, so then he walked away looking somewhat upset. When he got home, he proceeded to text me, still telling me how he wants to fuck me and how I would enjoy it. Each time I politely told him that I am not comfortable and so not ready. He finally said he doesn't have time to wait for me and that I must take care. I ended the conversation thanking him for the room. Please know that if I didn't have my son around me and he didn't just pay for a room for us to stay in so we wouldn't have to sleep in the public restroom, I wouldn't have been polite. I was being selfish. I didn't want him to reverse the room booking. I didn't want my son and myself sleeping in a public restroom, but I also sure as hell did not want to sleep with him. So am I the asshole for not sleeping with him? Absolutely not. And to kindness with strings, even though I am very grateful to you for helping us out, let's not meet again. You absolutely did nothing wrong. You did absolutely nothing wrong, and I want you to know that. He was trying to take advantage of your situation, and that is absolutely disgusting. And you did everything right. I mean, being polite I totally get, because I would also be scared of the same thing. And as long as he doesn't bother you again, and if he does bug you again, just be a massive bitch, who cares? But you did nothing wrong. And I really want to hammer that in. This next one is two little stories, but it says the guys who have tried to kidnap me. Before I start the story, I want to say these happened a long time ago. I'm 20 now, but remember these like they were yesterday. There's two stories, but they're both short. Also, sorry if my storytelling sucks. I'm so bad at explaining things. Same. But I'm bad at explaining things where I explain too much. I give way too many details. Number one, when I was around 8 or 9 years old, I would regularly check the mail at my dad's house. At the time, we lived in an apartment complex, so there were usually lots of people around and the mailboxes were only a little bit up the road. Anyways, one day it was pretty late, I'd say around 9 or 10 p.m., and I went to check the mail like usual. It was late because I had forgotten earlier. While I was in the middle of opening our mailbox, I heard a loud car pull up on the side of the road. The mailboxes were in between rows of apartments right near the sidewalk. At first I didn't look because it was normal for people to pull up at the mailboxes, especially at night around there. But after 30 seconds of me collecting the mail and shutting our mailbox, I realized nobody came up. So I turned around and saw this big white truck with a guy just sitting inside watching me. I froze as he started to open his door, but when he got out and opened his back door, I started booking it towards my house. He yelled at me to get back here, but I just kept running. Mind you, I was a chunky kid with asthma, so I nearly went into a dang asthma attack running from this guy, and me being the dumb kid I was, I never told anyone until I was like 15. No, because opening the door, like getting out and opening your back door and then being like, "Gay, get back here," that's terrifying. No. The second story says, okay, this story happened not as long ago, but it's the reason I told my family about the first time I was almost kidnapped. This happened when I was 15 with my best friend. We were hanging out in the town we used to live in. It was like 11 p.m., dark as hell, and we were just walking around listening to music and talking. We decided to go behind a store and sit at their picnic tables and chill for a bit and take pictures. It was a weekend in a small town, so quite a few people were out and about, mostly kids around our age. After being behind the store for like 20 minutes, some dude pulls up in a beat-up car and gets out. We get creeped out, as one would, but as we get up to walk away, he starts talking to us. As stupid teenagers, we stop to talk to him. The dude looks like he's in at least his mid-30s, so I genuinely don't know what was wrong with us. No, like, I get it. He starts calling us beautiful and asking how old we were and if we lived close by, and we stupidly answered him honestly. He was a good 10 feet away from most of the encounter, but as he kept talking, he started coming closer. I was getting a really bad vibe from him at this point, so I started to try and look into his car, and that's when I noticed another guy in the back seat just staring out the window like a creep, so I whispered to my friend that we need to go. We tried to say goodbye, but he kept just coming closer and talking to us, so we started slowly backing away before turning around and booking it to the front of the store. We could hear him following us until we got to the front where there were multiple adults working, chilling outside the store smoking. We told them what happened. We knew them. They were our parents' good friends. They took us home and made us tell our parents. I'm so glad they were outside because the dude was tailing us really bad until he saw them, and then we never saw that guy again. Sorry if those were kind of long. I tried to keep them short and detailed, but again, I suck at explaining things. Anyways, let me know if you guys had similar experiences. I've also had cars circle me and my friends like 10 times before driving away on multiple occasions. People are scary. Multiple occasions? Because that's crazy. When I read this next one, I got like chills down my spine. It's just so creepy. It says creepy Walmart guy, which I guess is very fitting. Hi, I'm Lynn. The names in the story have been changed for safety reasons. The people in the story are my mom, my sister who we'll call Anne, and my cousin who we'll call Marie. A lot of weird things happened to me and my family, so let me know if you want more stories. Of course. This happened about 2 years ago, so me and my sister were 15, my mom was 40, and my cousin was about 28. Also, sorry, but this is long. It's not that long. You're good. My family was bored, so we all decided to go to Walmart. I've always been a very socially aware person due to things that have happened in my past, and my mom just raised me that way. So when I noticed a random guy around 6'5", white and bald with a crap ton of tattoos, I got a little freaked out, not because of how he looked. I look a little creepy myself, but because he was alone and had nothing in his hands. It was just me, my mom, and Anne at the time due to Marie looking for something else for her kids. I told my mom and she immediately put us in front of her. We decided to go to the women's aisle. We didn't see him with a woman, so we expected him to get weirded out and leave us alone. He just went into the men's underwear, which was in eyesight of where we were. We got what we needed and left the aisle, and he followed. We found Marie and told her everything, and she replied with, "What does he look like?" We told her, and she turned pale white. He was following me too. Wait, how? Was she like, she was probably close. At that point, we went to self-checkout and had a situation where the tag wasn't on a pair of shoes I needed. My mom went and got a pair with tags. We stood waiting to leave when the man came past us, bending down to our level. Mind you, my mom is like 5'3" as well as Anne, and Marie's like 4'5", and I'm 5'7". He had to bend down pretty far. He smiled and said, "I'll see you girls later," while looking at me and my sister, and then walked away. My mom started screaming at one of the employees to get the guy because he was following us. They didn't do anything, they just stood there. No, because I'm sorry, if a grown man came up to me and was like, "I'll see you later," what the fuck does that mean? No, I'm sorry, what does that mean? We're not done. We asked them to walk us to our car and they said they would just watch us from the door. Driving home, we were followed by 2 cars. When we got home, I had a feeling I had seen him before. I looked through my followers on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. He was following me on all of the apps. For the next year, we saw the same car that followed us sitting outside of our school when we got there and when we left. We eventually had to be escorted in and out of our school by campus police. We went to the police department. They said they couldn't do anything due to lack of evidence. I'm sorry, that's just so insane to me. Like, that's just so crazy that they can't fucking do anything. What's your job? Sorry, what is your job? We soon found out the Walmart we saw him at was a common place for sex traffickers to find victims. So to me and my sister's creepy Walmart stalker, let's never meet again. I just absolutely, I hate that one. Okay, and I picked out one more that we're gonna read. It says, My Encounter with a Serial Killer. When I was a kid, my mother, younger sister, and myself were preyed upon and nearly victims of the serial killer, Peter Tobin. For context, Peter Tobin's demographic were women between the ages of 17 to 36, usually alone or foreign. His MO was to move to a new town, change his name, join a church community, R-word and kill women within the community, hide their bodies, then leave the town and start again in another church community. I lived in Glasgow, I'm gonna say that wrong, I'm so sorry, Scotland from the years 2004 to 2006. My parents were religious and actively participated in the local parish, St. Patrick's Church. One day, the priest, who was actually the sweetest dude in the world, introduced this new guy to the church community called Jack Tobin and told us to make him feel welcome. This guy Jack was very charismatic and quickly established himself within the community, hence my parents became well acquainted with him. I was 5, my sister was 3, my mom was 35. The night he paid us a visit, we were also foreign. We lived in an old duplex/row house that had been divided into 4 sub-houses. The building couldn't be entered unless you possessed a special key that only the sub-house owners possessed. Anyways, one night our power went out, so Mom lit some candles. Dad wasn't home from work yet, and because my sister and I were little and scared of the dark, we demanded Mom stayed with us in the light of the living room. There was a knock at the door, which Mom suspected to be one of our neighbors checking in on us. When she opened the door, she saw Jack Tobin. If you hadn't guessed already, this was not his real name. Yeah. He told her he was there to check on the gas. Mom had watched enough slasher movies in the 80s to know this was bullshit, I guess, because she told him she didn't need him to check on the gas and closed the door on him. We moved to Australia a couple of months later. A few years went by and my parents looked up the church we used to go to only to find a series of news articles. A month or so after we left, Peter was alone with this Polish exchange student who was also a member of the church community. He killed and R-worded her, then buried her under a tile in a room at the back of the church. Oh my God. He was caught and convicted of her murder. Later, he was linked and convicted of 3 other murders across the country, was diagnosed as a psychopath, and confessed to killing over 40 people. Obviously, after my parents discovered this, they were like, did he try to kill us that night? How did he even know where we lived? Blah, blah, blah. They put blah, blah, blah. My parents' theories were that he saw my mom, who was under 36 and foreign, followed us home, watched us, found out my dad would work late, and potentially tricked someone into letting him into the building, maybe even cut the power to our building. Anyways, this is my serial killer story. Let's not meet again. Oh my God. No, because I didn't even think about the fact that he could have been the one to cut the power. I hated all of those, and it reminds me that there's probably so many stories that I've missed out on because I just haven't been filming these videos. I promise to do better, so if you guys have any creepy stalker stories, even paranormal stories that you want to share with me or the community, I will have my subreddit link down below. I'm gonna dig through the depths of the subreddit because it's probably been months since I've filmed one of these videos, so I'm gonna check and I'm gonna film a lot of these, probably. When I was looking, there was a lot of paranormal ones. I just really wanted to do like a Let's Not Meet, so that's why I did that, but I have paranormal ones, so I'll probably do that like next week. But other than that, I'm gonna go. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye!